Hey, everyone. I'm Becca, he's Matt, and this is Becca's Book Club Adventure.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode. We are here to talk about the entirety of Rebecca Yarros' Empyrean world because we finished the book.
Yes. Or at least the first 3 of 5 potential books that she is doing in this series.
I am still in Hilton Head because, spoiler alert, it's like 45 minutes after we recorded the second half of Onyx Storm episode. But Becca is going to be going on her own trip. Tell everybody where you're going and why.
I am going to Banff, Canada, and I am so excited. We have a pharmacy friend who's getting married. So first off, excited to celebrate them, but also weddings in the mountains. Yes, please. So I have a dress that is garden party formal, ready, as well as tactical hiking gear packed in just a small backpack and a carry-on suitcase, which means one of 2 things. I have either outdone myself and done a really good job packing, or I forgot something really critical.
Or option 3, you're not going to be able to bring anything home from Canada.
That's why you just buy another bag.
Okay. Oh, hey, there you go. Okay. So hiking gear. How are you guys staying longer than the wedding, and you're going to go out into the national park?
Yeah, so we're staying a couple of days after the wedding. And thankfully the weather is supposed to be between 40s and 60s. So like hiking wise, all you need is like a few layers and good shoes. And so that's super easy. Banff is known for usually having a lot of rain. So that's the tactical gear we have packed. So I have rain pants and a rain jacket because rain or shine, we'll be out there.
Are you going to be staying like in the same hotel as the wedding, or are you going to be switching locations?
We'll be staying in the same hotel the whole time. We're staying at a hotel in Canamore because it was just a little bit more affordable. But it looks really super nice. So no complaints.
Okay. Well, I know Elizabeth and I both want like lots of pictures. And I think it's really cool.
We're going to the Fairmont Hotel, which is this really big, beautiful castle in Banff. And we're doing a food tasting tour there and high tea at one point. So I'm super excited.
I assume you'll love it because just back in January, your sister and I stayed in another Fairmont, but in Quebec City. And it's also like a castle, the Chateau Frontenac. And so ever since we stayed in that, it's been like Elizabeth's bucket list to stay in all the Fairmonts across Canada. And her number 2 was the one in Banff where you're going to go. So like pictures, yes, all the pictures.
I'm excited.
And hopefully you have 0 problems re-entering the United States. Fingers crossed.
Don't jinx us.
So we're going to be talking about all of Onyx Storm and the entire series. But before we do that, we got an email from a listener. And y'all, it's pretty damn cool. So we're going to keep it anonymous. And we're going to only read a couple portions of the email. Essentially, we got a comment on one of our shorts on YouTube. A listener is actually in the process of writing their own novels, and I told them to email us all the details, all of them. So,
and they pulled through.
Yeah. Becca, do you want to start it?
Yeah. All right. So I'll pitch the first novel that this author is working on. So, since you asked, I'm currently working on a detective thriller that will hopefully turn into my debut. The book is set in US 1999, and it's about 2 young private detectives who get roped into a serial killer investigation. Their PI office is on the brink of bankruptcy when they get the opportunity to investigate the killer who's been terrorizing the country for months. County for months. And the police are being blackmailed to cover for the killer. Anyone who's tried any serious investigation vanished, leaving only a disembodied eye on the scene. Our protagonist is juggling the investigation with raising her little sister and trying to avoid returning to the abusive family she escaped from. Solving the case could save their office, and with it, her dream. But it could also get her killed, or even worse, endanger her little sister. What they don't know is that the killer is someone close to them, their good friend, assistant, evidence handler, and most importantly, muffin dealer. Can they survive the cat and mouse game long enough for the killer to make a mistake?
This is going to be like book one and like a multi-book series that this person is working on. And the email goes on after a while to say, I do have another series I'm working on. It's a big sci-fi fantasy epic, but I'm keeping myself from doing any serious work on it because I'm so into detective series. Um, Originally, I wanted it to be, I wanted the debut with this book in the sci-fi fantasy series, but it's a little bit weird and thought-provoking, blah, blah, blah. Um, so I think the detective book is the better choice for a debut. All of it sounds super cool, first of all, but Becca and I want to debate which one this user should have as their debut because we're strangers and our opinion matters.
Obvious. They shouldn't obviously do what they've already determined to do, which sounds like a
Exactly.
solid, fine plan. So, by all means, please do not abandon your plan. But in the science fantasy epic, one of the little details they did give was that there are no humanoid characters, but that it's an entirely made up fantasy race that they invented, and that makes me so excited because I think traditionally when you think about sci-fi or fantasy, you think about a lot of humanoid characters, and don't get me wrong, sci-fi movies where you don't have humanoid characters I struggle with, but I think it would be really interesting to read, something around that. I totally think they should do the detective book as their debut, but I'm intrigued.
I was actually thinking the same along the same lines as you with the sci-fi epic because I think based upon the conversations that you and I have had, some of the thing that gets us with books is when archetypes and tropes are new and fresh.
Mhm.
And if none of them are humans or even humanoid, it like you could use all of the worn out and tired archetypes and tropes, but they would seem new and completely original. And that would be like so cool to read. Um, but just listening to and reading the brief synopsis of the detective thriller that you have going on, I love it. I mean, obviously, I've talked about the Temperance Brennan books a few times on this podcast now, and I actually just started book 11 earlier today. Um, and this sounds so good. Also, it's not just about the detective. It's not about the detection. There's a whole subplot with like family stuff, relationships between other people and neighbors, uh, things like that. It's like it's multi-layered plots, and I like that a lot. Um,
Especially if it's got any type of comedic relief to it, like a little Onion vibe going on. Yes, please.
I suppose the other this listener also mentioned that before they publish anything, they want to complete the series so that they don't get sidetracked, so that they don't write themselves into a corner, yeah, or have continuity errors or anything. And I also think that's a pretty smart move. It's definitely a long game. But we've read enough books where we have the questions of like, was this invented after the fact? Um, and like, I'm not saying that this person is going to become famous or anything, but like, there's a lot of stuff in like the Harry Potter series, for example, where you're like, oh, that wasn't thought through.
Yep.
So I think, not having those questions is like a really cool concept. So it sounds like we're both I think we're more interested in this whole non-humanoid sci-fi, what we both think that the detective thriller is probably the debut novel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm excited for them. This sounds like a ton of work and I could never. So full props to this listener for seeing this dream to the end.
yes. Um Also, I want to read. And with our minuscule whatever this presence is, we will read and we will discuss. There will be content made. Anyways, very cool. This user's username is Sweet Shadow. So shout out to Sweet Shadow. Definitely we'll send you an email after this. But we wanted this to be kind of like fresh for the episode. So looking forward to more communications. Really glad that you emailed in. I think this is really cool. I'm a little bit jealous that you want to be an author. That's so awesome.
All right. Well, in honor of Kevin and I traveling to Canada, I think it's time that we dedicate today's episode to our sponsor, Tim Hortons. Canada's answer to the question, what if coffee wasn't good, but you had a deep emotional tie to it anyway?
That's right. Whether you're in a city, a remote gas station, or clinging to the side of a mountain, there's probably a Tim Hortons waiting to hand you a cup of hot, legally adhering coffee-adjacent liquid.
Come for the caffeine, stay because it's culturally mandatory. It's not necessarily about flavor, but it is about citizenship.
At Tim Hortons, you can order a double-double, a Timbit, or a breakfast sandwich that looks like it got stepped on by a moose in a big, huge hurry. Tastes like hockey and mild seasonal depression.
Side effects may include confusing coffee sizes like medium large, feeling morally obligated to say it's better than Starbucks, a warm cup and even warmer sense of national unity, and growing suspicious that your loyalty points are tracking your behavior.
Tim Hortons. Because in Canada, it's not just coffee, it's a lifestyle.
And you're not allowed to leave. And if you're American, is that really a bad thing?
Let me ask you this. How upset would you be if you could not re-enter the United States?
Canada is one of the few places where my licensing and degree is actually useful, so I'd be okay. I love cold
just
weather.
text Elizabeth and I. We'll get you all your stuff.
I love cold weather. And listen, Timbits are the elite donut option out there, okay? You bring in some Timbits and I am your best friend.
I think I need to turn on some lights in this room.
But yeah, every time I've had coffee from Timbits, I'm like, well, it's warm and caffeinated.
And the ridiculous part is that on road trips, if I had my choice of where I'm going to stop to get coffee and breakfast, it is Tim Hortons.
Their bagels are great.
So, we finished the entire Empyrean series until Rebecca Yarros deems her time worthy enough to write more of them.
As if you could just turn out a book in a day, but whatever.
Okay, before we get into the discussion, so if you want to be just as cool as Sweet Shadow, You can also send us an email and join the conversation, or leave us a comment or a review. Our email is bookclubbybecca@gmail.com, or you could hit us up on Instagram. We are at Becca's Book Club Adventure. We like making friends.
Mhm.
That's okay. So here I wanted to talk about the entire series so far, as well as the entirety of Onyx Storm. So should we just go down the list, or do you want to start somewhere in particular?
Mm, let's start with, of the 3 books, which one was your favorite?
Number 1, Fourth Wing.
Same. Second
I don't
favorite?
know. Oh, probably Onyx Storm.
Me too.
I think Onyx Storm might be the most confusing.
Yes.
Uh, um, there is Fourth Wing hooked me. There was reading Fourth Wing made me feel like I was reading the first Harry Potter book again, or made me
Yeah.
feel like I was reading Wheel of Time for the first time again. Like it was like this new world, and it pulled me in, and I didn't want to put the book down. It felt magical. It felt
Yeah.
whimsical.
Building a world and being introduced to that world for the first time is such a lovely thing that I don't many first books are just they're the best of the series for that reason. You keep reading because you wanna find out, right? But we
Yep.
have texted a little bit about this. A series I really enjoyed, called The Black Witch Chronicles. The final book finally came out, and it doesn't have great reviews, and I
Mm.
read I think the prelude to the prologue, and I'm already confused because 'cause it's been so long. I'm like, "Oh, no. This isn't good for me," because I don't recall all of these details. So, there's something about that first book because there's a little hand-holding to get you through.
I was so you told me about that series, and I earmarked the first book as a vacation read, and then the library didn't have it available for me to come down to Hilton's Head. So I was majorly bummed about that. But yeah, not every series first book reels you in, but this one definitely did. And like, if we're going to talk about which of the books was the best book, I don't know, but Fourth Wing was definitely the most magical, and it was the most like gripping and engaging.
Right. Should we move on to our ratings of Onyx Storm?
Yes. Shoot, I'm gonna open this up. Do you remember what you rated the book?
We're rating it live at this point. Um, so with story, graph, you can do increments. So, I'm probably gonna say like a 3.5, 3 3/4.
I rated it as a 4. I'm looking at my
Mhm.
um I said definitely on the whole not as good as the first 2 books, but the ending makes up for it and leaves you with more questions than answers, is what I wrote. And I think now that I've had time to sit with my thoughts, I think that what I wrote on there was wrong. I think it's the same goodness or better than the second book.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
better than the second book.
like, okay, so the torture scenes in book 2 didn't bother me quite as much as they bothered you. So I have a weird feeling with authors. And I wanna get some of your thoughts on this, because I've noticed it with multiple books and fantasy series, with us doing this podcast. the beginning of the series is always like the best written and most engaging books, but then the further you get into the series, like the more stuff happens
Hmm.
and the more complexity is there. But at the same time, a lot of that stuff that happens and complexity sometimes feels a little gratuitous. Um, and that bothers me from time to time. And I don't know if you felt that way with Crescent City or with the Empyrean series or anything else.
Well, I like when you do your storybook rating, I like that it asks you a couple of questions because it just made me think about this. One of my things I maybe don't like about Onyx Storm that we did get in Fourth Wing is we didn't get as much character development. There were not really strong life lessons learned from
Hmm.
any of the main characters, and you get away from character driven to heavily plot driven. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think character driven writing is very difficult, but that's also why it's really enticing to readers.
Yeah. Agreed. 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 Um, okay. So some of the stuff that we don't I don't ever really touch on in our plot summaries is usually like the sexy time scenes
Hmm.
because it's more of a how do you graciously summarize that? Um, I felt, especially in Onyx Storm, that the sexy time scenes we got kind of came out of nowhere and were a little like they didn't add to the characters, it didn't further their relationship, and it didn't really further the plot.
I appreciated that it maintained some of the plot points of like, oh, we're gonna do it only when magic is not involved so that we don't risk things, blah, blah,
Okay,
blah.
sure.
So I appreciated that part of it, but you're right, they kind of felt like, oh, convenience. We should write a whole chapter about how we're enjoying each other's presence, which I mean, obviously I read the book, I didn't mind. But
No.
yeah.
No, I was proactively texting you like, wait until you get to chapter. Well, I don't remember the numbers, like chapter 25 and 49 or something like that.
Yep, yep.
Um, like at least what like Crescent City, when you get to the third book of Crescent City, it was almost like pornographic. It was like, oh, I'm in the gym. You're in the gym. And then like you hear like bow chicka wow wow the music start playing. But like Onyx Storm didn't even have that. It was just like, tell me what you want, Violet. I'm like, oh my God, come on, dude. Like anyway, I think that is a little bit why I started having some misgivings about Onyx Storm. Is yes, it was the like the sex, but also the amount of complication with backstory and blah blah blah. Some of it seemed to come out of the blue, and therefore it felt like a little gratuitous, like the author was trying to make something for the sake of making something.
Mhm.
Um, but now that I've had some time to sit with Onyx Storm, I definitely think it's better than Iron Flame, and I think some of that complicated detail stuff is the reason why.
Yes. Like Iron Flame, I still feel like we got a lot of character development in, which I appreciated, and I think we got more in Iron Flame than we did in Onyx Storm. But Onyx Storm, we got a lot more world building, which I
Yes,
do really enjoy, and sets up nicely for another book of either more world building or character development as we swing into Violet becoming a duchess.
I agree. I loved the world building. Um, I have discovered though that I have a pet peeve with world building,
Yeah.
and um, it was this series. It was Crescent City series. If you are going to build a world and you're going to talk about traveling the world, you damn well better be giving me a map. It is so frustrating to me that we didn't have a map of where the isles are and or the eternal city.
Oh, maybe we didn't. I thought we did have a map, but now I'm thinking about the map I'm picturing is for the book I'm
It's
currently reading, not
we have a map, but for
the continent.
for but it's just the continent. It's Peromial, the Barrens, and Navarre and Tirandor. There's none of the isles.
Yeah, that would have been critical for this book.
And then, like with Crescent City, it was literally a map of Crescent City, but nothing outside of Crescent City. Like when they
Oh,
go to the
yeah.
summit in like book 2, or I'm sorry, that was book 1. They went to the summit, or
Yep.
the oceans, uh,
I do
or the
love
Eternal City, or anything like that.
when you get a book and you start with one type of map in the first book, and then as you get a few books in, the map grows. I do love
Yes,
that.
I liked that a lot. Um, was that at what Throne of Glass did that, right?
That sounds right, yeah.
I want to say Akatar did that too.
Yeah, I think it was only from, like, the first to the second book, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was essentially her being mortal versus her being high fae.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I also really appreciate the evolving maps. Um, I will say one of my only gripes with Onyx Storm is that because it was about world building, I feel as though a lot of the side characters were forgotten. And I think a lot of what I loved about Fourth Wing and whatever is you get all of the like the Riddick and Sawyer and Liam like sarcasm and side conversations and their personalities come through. And I feel like that was missing a little bit in Onyx Storm.
I did appreciate Sawyer's journey of how do I get back on a dragon now that I'm missing a leg, and that call out to, Violet has, um, kind of an invisible disability that she deals with, and, now tying in the framework of a visible disability, and how do we modify our dragons? How do we modify society to fit more people's needs? And so I appreciated that call out and that character development that occurred, but
Hmm.
that was kind of Sawyer was the only side character that really had change and development.
Hmm. I enjoyed how Riddick like voluntarily kind of stepped into Liam's old role.
Mhm.
Not a bodyguard, but like we're better as a cohesive unit, and I want to be there type of a. I appreciated that, and I appreciated how he still maintained his sarcasm. I think so. In the last episode, you asked me what my favorite moment in the book was, um, and just within the last hour after we stopped talking, I've got that. Okay, my favorite moment in the entire book of Onyx Storm was when Riddick and it's right before they're on the deserted island, right before the Irids land. It's when Riddick and I don't know how to pronounce his dragon's name, Aotrim or whatever,
Yep.
are like they're in the middle of their little prank war.
Yes.
Yeah, that tiny flash of personality of the dragon, perfectly matching Riddick's joking personality. I think that was my favorite part of the entire book.
Well, and then it's closely followed up by Riddick laying into Violet of like, "Where's the line? We have to
Uh-huh.
pick a line. I don't care what the line is. You pick the line, but I'm saving you from yourself."
Yeah.
And that like fierce amount of loyalty that he has.
I like how it was brought up multiple times that Riddick is like, just because I joke around doesn't mean I'm not as reliable or smart or whatever as the rest of you people.
Mhm.
I appreciated that because I feel like I'm that way. Like even your brother is that way. We have like little brother energy. We're jokesters because we want to be noticed. But it doesn't mean we're not serious about life, and it doesn't mean we're stupid or whatever.
And I think those were the 2 characters who had development during this book was Sawyer and Riddick.
Yeah. Riddick much more than Sawyer. I almost feel like Sawyer was almost forgotten, and then Rebecca Yarros was like, oh, he's gonna get on a dragon now.
Yeah.
But okay, all right. Here's something that I felt was really lacking from Onyx Storm. Where was the like Sawyer and Jacinia relationship that was like so promised at the end of book 2?
Well, and then they always talk about Rick signing too, and so I know this is terrible, but sometimes I can't remember who is in love with Jacinia.
Yeah, I want Jacinia to have a happy ending.
Me too.
I like book nerds.
We also didn't get much of her in this book. And I
Mhm.
feel like for a book based off of books, we didn't get much from the book person.
Yeah, which is always surprising because if you ever notice, there's always that trope, and I think that that trope is actually the author inserting themselves into the story.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it's odd to me that the author doesn't, insert themselves more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do
Okay,
we want to
so
run some hypotheticals?
sure. Theophany was a princess, a priestess of Dune. Violet was allegedly dedicated to the Temple of Dune by her father. They um, protect a Temple of Dune when the Battle of Aritia or whatever is fought.
Mhm.
Um, and we get the priestess of the Temple of Dune on Umbriel is dropping all those hints. So, hypothetical scenario: were the priestesses of Dune important in Onyx Storm only, or are they going to continue to be super important moving forward?
I think
Or
it has to
did
be
they die with Theophany?
important moving forward. I don't think they died with Theophany. I think we're going to learn a lot more about this dedication versus being a priestess because we also don't really know what being dedicated to a god means.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, their whole god system was basically just introduced in this book. Like we knew Malik in the first few books, but outside of that, like we knew there were other gods, but we didn't know the purposes. And so now we're starting to learn their other purposes. So, team, there
Uh-huh.
has to be more about Dune. Also, I think it's going to come in clashing with, the war, the goddess of war, and then the pacifist dragons. There's got to be some type of clash with those two concepts.
Can you remind me which Isle was like obsessed with the Irids? Was it Umbriel or was it, maybe this is unimportant?
I think so, because that's the one that asked for the dragon eggs.
I also think they're going to continue to be important. I just uh, I just wonder in what context. Like, are we going back to Umbriel, or since there is a Temple of Dune in Arisha, is that where it's all going to be important?
I hope the Isles don't just get discarded after this book. We spent so much time setting them up.
Yeah, I agree. Now that you talked about this, the progression of the Empyrean series is starting to remind me of the progression of Game of Thrones.
Mm.
Um, well, it's not Game of Thrones; it's a Song of Ice and Fire. Insofar as you have some books, religion is like not a thing; it's all about battle and violence and politics, and then suddenly there's so many religions, and they're all going to influence politics. So I wonder, maybe does the Temple of Dune become politically charged in the future
Mhm.
books.
Well, especially if Violet ends up that it's true that she was dedicated, because then that means her father violated laws. So I do think that's going to have political ramifications, even though she kind of lost her political standing with her mother's death, but also now she's a duchess, so she's
Hmm.
regained it.
Okay, so I know we touched on this in the last episode, but speaking of Violet as a duchess, hypothetical, is Violet a duchess full time, or is Violet going to finish her third year at Basgiath as a cadet?
I don't see
Because
her
I
finishing her
think,
third year.
I mean, the rules are: can you be one and the same? Can you be royalty and a cadet? I
Isn't that
mean,
why Arik went undercover?
so I was that's a good point. Did he go undercover so that he could get in, or did he go undercover literally to run away from his family and not be found?
I don't know.
If anybody's leave us some comments. What do you think? Hmm. Okay. Vinin. I think especially after part 1 of Onyx Storm, we were thinking the Vinin are going to turn out to be like the good guys somehow in some big twist. But then at the battle at the end of the book, it seems pretty obvious that they're some wicked evil people.
Don't you love it when you're wrong?
Okay, so you think the Vinin are not going to turn out to quote be in the right?
I don't think we learned anything additional that leads me to believe more that maybe the Venom are okay. I was hoping we would. I was hoping we would get Theophanie's lesson plan, but we just killed her instead.
Yeah, she definitely get killed off before she hit tenure, didn't she?
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely in the camp that the Venom are just twisted and wicked. Um, but somehow I think there's going to be some backstory to them. The original Venom
Yeah.
were not twisted and wicked, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Because then that would go along with the whole, like, they believe that power is for all, it shouldn't be kept by the dragons or the riders, blah, 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 blah. Because that seems very pacifist in beginning,
Hmm.
but clearly there's a deviation between that and what they're currently doing.
Hmm. And how much did the other two brothers? How much were they just assholes and forced that upon the third brother or whatever? Yeah. Um. Okay. Next hypothetical point that I have. Something that got introduced in Onyx Storm that we didn't really talk about in the first two books extensively is it seems like a lot of writers have multiple signets. And it was kind of introduced to us in book 1 that, like, if you have a second signet, it's more likely than not that you're going to die. Um, so why why is it that all of these people kept their second signets a secret?
Well, most of them are marked riders, and we knew that their dragons picked them with intention to get second signets because of the familiar relations that were in there that could help produce the second signets. So we know that was a dragon divine intention, if you will.
Sure.
But then we've got Violet with two dragons and now finally two signets. It's obviously important, but also like her dragon leaves and she keeps her signet. I'm not. Well, I guess we didn't get a dream in the meantime, but
No, we still got dreams. We still got I think there were
yeah.
two after Andarna left. And so that led me to wonder, did the Irid dragon Leotham or whatever his name is, did he actually break the bond or did he mask it?
Because all we kind of get is that pop sound that the Irids do. Like maybe he just cut the pop off for her to connect, and it'll be an easy when Andarna comes back. Pop, we'll be friends
Y-
again because it sounds like the Irids bond with everyone.
yes, or have the ability to, or whatever.
Yeah,
Because I was also wondering, like, how did Andarna know when to come back, and how did she know how to find Violet when Violet was battling Theophany?
there's obviously a connection still.
Yes, which would explain how Violet still has a second signet.
And Andarna didn't leave because she was upset or whatever with Violet. She left to go learn more, which is a very Violet thing to do.
Yes, learning props. Okay, so what? Let's talk about the future of the series, or at least what we can hypothetically divine. So we've talked about Violet is going to be a duchess.
Yes.
Obviously, she's going to be pining after and or still trying to find a cure for Xaden.
Yep.
What else is going to happen in book 4?
She's going to come into her leadership role as Duchess. She's
Okay,
going to
character
leave
development.
her cadet life. She's going to marry her archives life and her battle life as Duchess. And I think she's going to go on a deep dive of Venom history because we didn't get a lot of it. We knew they were reading a lot. We didn't get a lot of the individual texts.
Did that bother you? It kind of bothered
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Especially because we got so much of it in Fourth Wing.
Yeah. Does she find a cure for Xaden?
Not in book 4.
Not in book 4. What do you think the fallout from the end of Onyx Storm is? Like obviously she's the Duchess, but it seems at the end of Onyx Storm that people are like Xaden is a venom piece of shit, which leads me to believe that they're going to want to kill Violet because then that would kill Xaden. But Brennan is in charge.
Hmm.
What's the fallout here? Do you think?
And who's going to lead this territory with Violet? Not that she needs a partner, but like she doesn't even have Imogen with her to like provide additional historical context to the community.
Yeah.
Like she's got to go meet her people.
Okay. So is Violet at Basgaiath at all on book 4?
No. Arisha becomes our home.
Does she leave Orisha in book 4? Like meaningfully leave, not visit her sister for a couple of days, but like gone for periods of time.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with no.
Like I want her to go back to the Isles,
Yeah,
but how does she go back to the Isles if she is now the Duchess of Tyrandor?
right? Wouldn't you send a representative if you can?
Yeah, or like don't you need to wait a sufficient period of time to like govern your place and get to know it and establish yourself or whatever?
Right?
Yeah.
And is she about to be really rich or really broke? Like, we don't really know the financial situation of this territory.
That's a good question. I think she's going to live richly insofar as she's not going to have any wants. All of the needs will be provided. But what's her bank account? Good question.
What happens with Mira? Does Mira lead by her side? Brennan's obviously going to be supporting her and helping us. I mean, he obviously is the context to this community at this point for her.
Violet, I think she has to repair her relationship with Mira.
Yeah,
The the first two books, like their little family unit is always a good family unit, the siblings. And some of Violet's father's final words to her in the books or the letters that he kept in the books or whatever was trust no one but Mira.
that's true.
So
Samira is the trustworthy one, according to Dad. But is Dad trustworthy? If Dad dedicated daughter.
this is a good yes. I personally think that Violet's father is extremely knowledgeable, extremely altruistic, and is playing a very long game, which means he had to know something. Um, no prophecy has been introduced into this series yet, which I'm definitely okay with that. But he had to know something, and we have General Melgren, who's like a precog for battles, and now you have Eric, who is a like real precog with just the future in general.
Yep.
And I'm starting to wonder if their mother Lilith had some type of second signet
Mm.
in Tenzik or something that she was able to share information with their father. And that's how he, with his scribe knowledge and understanding, started playing this long game.
That's a lot to process.
Uh-huh. Um, but book 4 and book 5 do not have a release date yet.
I mean, Onyx Storm's been out for like 6 months, so I don't blame her.
Yeah. But I can definitely see when we get that the next book, there's going to be a book tour, and I think we need to keep our eyes open for that. And I think we need to go.
That would be fun.
And I'm guessing that's going to happen with Sarah J. Moss for the Akatar books coming out.
Yes, that would be
And
phenomenal.
and they seem like they're big enough and famous enough that it's not like go to a Barnes and Noble for a meet and greet. Like they're gonna like sell out freaking like Nationwide Arena or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think that would be super fun for us to go. Do you wanna do you wanna close out the Empyrean series with some would you rathers?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Would you rather live on Umbriel, Hedotus, or Zanal?
I think I would rather live on Zenhal. I think we actually did this in the last episode.
Mhm.
Um, but Zenhal is very Hakuna Matata, um, no worries, mon type of thing. And I would, and like you pointed out, they're all just hanging out in that arena or whatever, no jobs, hanging out there for days, partying.
Yep.
That sounds like a great island to live on, man. What about you?
I'm gonna pick that one because Devarelli's not on the board, but
Mm.
Hedotus, absolutely not. Those people seem heinous. And Umbriel, I don't think I could keep up, so I'll take my chance with luck.
Okay, so let's say that if you live on that island, you have to be a priestess at the temple for their god. Does your answer change?
I'm a pretty unlucky person, so mm, probably.
I think I would, if I'm going to be a dedicated priest, I would be a priest. I think that would take me out of politics and everything. And I think at that point, I would probably live on Hedotus and dedicate myself to the god of wisdom.
Yeah, I don't like that island one bit, but if I had to pick a god to dedicate myself to, wisdom it is.
Yeah, because if I'm on Umbriel, I'd be dead somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's the next one?
Would you rather be a Navarian dragon, any breed, or an Irid?
Mm. Okay, so really, when we boil this question down, do you want to be a badass warrior that can kill everything? Or do you want to be like this sweet, all magical chameleon that never has to worry about violence?
But are
Hmm,
also kind of assholes.
a little bit. Do you have a ready answer?
Can I be an Atron? Can I be a funny
Yes.
dragon?
Yes.
I'm gonna
Okay.
pick
We
that.
are aligned with that.
I
We are
mean,
aligned with that.
I'm a Terran at heart. I'm a grumpy old man, but
Yeah, okay. We're aligned with that. Would you rather be married to Xaden without the memory of marrying him, or not married to Xaden, but you remember your last moments with him?
the second, because I think the marriage is dumb.
Okay, I'm right there with you, but that wasn't going to be my reason. I was just going to be like, I want my memory. I don't want to be confused.
I'm sorry, to be married and widowed 12 hours later is a horrific life event. Horrific.
Oh man.
Would
I
you
I agree
rather?
with you though that the marriage is dumb. That was spot on, Becca. Spot on.
I mean, obviously, it's gonna have a huge, significant plot point in the next book,
Yeah.
but their relationship's not my favorite, and that's okay. Um, would you rather be an Oresian deserter writer, forever hated, shamed, and mistrusted, or a Navarian loyalist writer, forever trusted and safe behind the wards, but ultimately weak and a scared loser? I feel like you wrote this specifically a certain way.
I would like to be an Orishan deserter writer. Not necessarily because I'm some brave, amazing person, but that cast of characters is just so much more fun to hang out with.
I've been thinking a lot about like, would I be the person that speaks up and steps up? And I don't know, but I want to be. So I would like to be a deserter because I would like to be the person that follows logic instead of
Yeah,
follows the crowd.
yeah. Would you rather risk either way? You're going to risk your life in this question. Would you rather risk your life in signet sparring or rider survival class?
Um, I'm gonna go. Ooh. I'm gonna go with signet sparring because I have a fear of heights.
Mm, okay.
But I think the writer survival class would be a ton of fun. I would just be scared the whole time whether I was dying or not.
100% rider survival class reminds me of Boy Scouts.
The whole thing
Like,
kind of has Boy Scout vibes. Tie
I
your
did that
root or
shit.
you're not.
Yeah, I did that shit when I was like 12, 13, 14. So, anyways, I think signet sparring would be so much more fun.
Yeah.
Essentially, like if you're able to read a map, rider's survival class is aerial acrobatics and or digging a pit and shitting in the woods. So,
The acrobatics part sounds fun though,
I mean, if you can stomach the heights,
right?
yeah,
Would you rather be Theophany or Berwin?
I would rather be Theophany.
Who would you rather fight?
At this point in time, I'd also rather fight Theophany simply because we know what the F she does. And
Yep.
we have no information or context on Berwyn at all.
Right. She also wants to give us context, so it's Theophany all the way.
Yeah. And like, if we're being honest, there is something like macabre, gothic. There's some type of like sexiness going on with Theophany,
Mm-hmm.
but in the like she's gonna kill you and she's a goth girl type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather be Rhiannon, leader of the squad responsible for everybody's lives, or would you rather be Violet, the real power and mission leader?
Do I get Rhiannon as a leader if I pick Violet, and vice versa? Do I get a Violet if I pick Rhiannon? Or am I going to be set up with a team of losers?
Let's just go with what is in the book. So yes, if you are Rhiannon, you have a Violet, and if you are Violet, you have a Rhiannon.
I'm a really good delegator, so I would love to be a Rhiannon because I could delegate the shit out of my team and help Violet accomplish her mission.
Man, we are right on the same page. I am also a very good planner and organizer. I've also found in my managerial career that I am really good at, can we use the word inspiring? Like getting the best out of my people, even if that means that they somehow end up being better than me.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you. I would pick also being Rhiannon and then relying on one of my people being an all super powerful being.
All right, so now we got to put a bookmark in this book, but also, what are we going to read next?
So obviously we need to pick our next series that we're going to read, but I think for the foreseeable future, maybe even like a month,
Hmm.
right? You're going to be going to Canada. Your little brother is getting married soon.
Hmm.
Then we're going to have a time with that, and you're officiating that. You
Yeah,
need some time to like plan and breathe.
to write.
And then your sister and I are taking a 10-day cross country road trip to Maine and back. So I think the easiest thing for us to do is to just go at our individual TBRs and just, tease books at one another for a while. Um, I've thought, uh, I don't know anything about individual series, but I've been playing around with either doing a Lee Bardugo series or a Jennifer Armentrout series.
Okay.
Just because those are two widely renowned and respected names. Um, have you do you have any series that are on the top of your list that you would want to read? Want us
Nothing
both
is
to read?
standing out right now, but I have saved a lot of duologies and trilogies from other book talkers out there that have been catching my eye. So those seem interesting. Really like the idea of something a shorter series right now while we are trekking through unfinished series.
Yes. If anybody listening has any comments or suggestions, throw them in the comments or email us or whatever. But if we're just going to be going through our TBRs, we've got some time to go through our lists and text each other what we want to do next.
Sounds like a plan for now.
I suppose the one book that we could definitely read together is coming out sometime around Halloween. I think it's called the the Damned. It's the there was what's her Willow and Gray, and the second book was
Oh,
called The Cursed. I think the third one, The
yes.
Damned, is coming out sometime around Halloween. We
Okay.
could potentially, and that would be a one off, and that would like be book 3 out of 3 of a series.
Well, then I need to read The Cursed, and we'll be ready to go come October.
Um, yes, we could do that, but yeah, I guess we'll talk about it. But everybody else, just you're going to be getting a whole bunch of should you read this episodes for like the next month.
It'll be glorious.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess that's the Empyrean series, and that's our episode. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Until next time.
See ya.